Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party has been thrown into turmoil yet again, this time with accusations of sleaze, hypocrisy and dishonesty at the heart of the scandal. Rosie Duffield, once a vocal and respected MP for Canterbury, has made headlines by resigning from the Labour Party in spectacular fashion. In her resignation letter, she accused Starmer of engaging in sleaze, nepotism and avarice, painting a damning picture of the man many once believed could lead Labour to victory in the next general election. The resignation comes as Starmer faces growing scrutiny over his relationship with Labour peer Lord Waheed Ali, from whom he received gifts worth over £32,000. While these donations might seem trivial in isolation, they form part of a broader pattern of behaviour that has eroded trust in Starmer's leadership. Duffield's letter serves as a public indictment, accusing Starmer of being completely out of touch with working-class voters, suggesting that he has lost the moral compass needed to steer the country forward. But this scandal is not just about Duffield's resignation or Starmer's questionable ties with wealthy donors, it's a test of Starmer's ability to lead. With mounting pressure from within his own party and an increasingly disillusioned public, is Keir Starmer the right man to take Britain forward? Many are starting to think not, and this latest scandal may be the tipping point. At the heart of this controversy lies the relationship between Keir Starmer and Labour donor Lord Waheed Ali, a peer who has long been associated with the party. While donations from wealthy individuals are not unusual in politics, the issue here is the hypocrisy that comes with Starmer's acceptance of such gifts. Over the past few years, Starmer has positioned himself as a leader who would clean up the so-called cronyism and corruption rampant in the Conservative Party. However, the revelations about his own dealings with wealthy benefactors have raised serious questions about his commitment to transparency and fairness. The £32,000 in gifts from Lord Ali, including designer suits and other luxuries, may seem inconsequential to some, but they take on a deeper significance when viewed in the context of Labour's current platform. Rosie Duffield's resignation letter touched on this, accusing Starmer of maintaining the Conservative two-child benefits cap, a policy that has entrenched poverty for many families across the country. For a Labour leader who is supposed to fight for the underprivileged, to accept such lavish gifts while supporting policies that disproportionately hurt the poor has struck many as a profound contradiction. Duffield's exit has only magnified these concerns. By calling out Starmer's sleaze and nepotism, she has signalled that this issue goes far beyond one individual. It cuts to the core of what the Labour Party should represent and whether or not it can truly stand up for ordinary people under Starmer's leadership. Her bold move to step down has set off a wave of criticism from within the party, with many questioning whether Starmer can continue to hold the confidence of his own MPs. Rosie Duffield's resignation was not a quiet departure, it was a calculated, public denouncement of Starmer's leadership. In her resignation letter, she pulled no punches, accusing Starmer and his close allies of tarnishing the Labour Party with scandal and hypocrisy. Describing Starmer's leadership as out of touch and corrupt, Duffield highlighted how the Labour Party has strayed from its roots under his watch. She was particularly scathing in her remarks about the party's refusal to abolish the two-child benefits limit, a policy that affects the very families Labour claims to protect. Duffield's decision to leave Labour was not taken lightly, and her departure marks a significant blow to Starmer's credibility. As a representative of a traditionally Labour constituency, her resignation signals a growing rift between Starmer and the grassroots members of the party. More concerning for Starmer is the fact that Duffield is not alone in her dissatisfaction. There are murmurs of discontent among other MPs who feel that Starmer has abandoned the values that once defined Labour, replacing them with cronyism and elitism. Public reaction to Duffield's exit has been swift and supportive. Many see her as a principled politician standing up for what she believes is right, even if it means leaving her party behind. Her resignation has sparked debate about the direction Labour is heading in and whether Starmer is the leader to carry it forward. On social media, hashtags like #DuffieldWasRight have trended as people across the country weigh in on whether Labour under Starmer can still claim to represent the working class. Reacting to Rosie Duffield's criticism of Labour, broadcaster JJ Anisiobi expressed strong disapproval of Keir Starmer, claiming he has zero respect for the Labour leader and believes Starmer is the wrong choice to lead the party. Speaking to GB News, Anisiobi remarked, "Rosie's harsh words were spot on. Starmer has shown himself to be entirely disconnected from the public. I have no respect for the man who leads our country. He's simply not fit to lead Labour, nor is he the right person to guide the nation." As if the donations scandal and Duffield's resignation weren't enough, Keir Starmer now faces backlash over his refusal to support the burial of electricity cables across the country. Starmer has argued that burying these cables would lead to higher taxes, something he claims the public is not willing to bear. Instead, his government has opted for the cheaper and less environmentally friendly option of constructing more pylons, a decision that has drawn sharp criticism from environmentalists and local campaigners. The issue of burying power lines might seem niche, but it speaks to a larger disconnect between Starmer's government and the people it governs. Campaigners argue that pylons despoil the countryside and ruin scenic views, especially in rural areas that rely on tourism. These communities, already feeling neglected, are now up in arms over what they perceive as another example of the government prioritising cost-cutting over long-term environmental preservation. Starmer's decision has added fuel to the growing sentiment that he is unwilling to make the tough choices necessary to secure a sustainable future for Britain. Critics argue that his refusal to invest in the infrastructure needed for a greener future shows a lack of vision. It's yet another controversy that reinforces the perception that Starmer is out of touch with the everyday concerns of British citizens. Meanwhile, on the other side of the political aisle, Rishi Sunak has delivered a rare, heartfelt apology for the Conservative Party's devastating defeat in the July general election. Speaking at the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham, Sunak admitted that the party had failed to deliver the results their efforts deserved. His apology was not just an acknowledgement of defeat, but also an opportunity to swipe at Starmer. Sunak's apology came with a biting critique of Labour's growing hypocrisy. In his speech, Sunak pointed out that while Labour criticises the Conservatives for cronyism, they are now embroiled in their own donation scandals. He also took aim at Lord Ali, saying that Labour is now learning socialists always run out of other people's money, a jab at the growing controversy surrounding Starmer's reliance on wealthy donors. This comment, while tongue-in-cheek, hit a nerve in the political discourse. For Sunak, this was an opportunity to reframe the Conservative Party's losses as a temporary setback and to remind the public that Labour's current issues might prove just as problematic for Starmer's government. Sunak's call for party unity was a stark contrast to the chaos surrounding Starmer's leadership. He urged Conservative members to focus on the future and rally behind whoever emerges as the next leader, signalling that the fight against Labour is far from over. With Rosie Duffield's resignation, the Lord Ali donation scandal, and the backlash over his refusal to bury electricity cables, Starmer is facing pressure from all sides. The cracks in his leadership are becoming more evident, and his once solid position as Labour's saviour is now in question. As the British public watches these events unfold, one thing is clear: Starmer's future as Prime Minister is uncertain. Can he weather this storm, or is this just the beginning of the end? Time will tell, but for now Starmer's ability to lead Britain is hanging by a thread.